how to field strip, disassemble, and clean a Ruger SR40C or an SR40 or SR9. They're all built the same, and we're only going to use a few tools here. I'm going to use original gun oil, which is a cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. CLP. I'm going to use a Boresnake to clean the bore, a gun brush, some cotton swabs, and some cut-up t-shirts. That's all I'm going to need. Always remove the magazine, open the slide, verify there's no round in the chamber and no magazine in the gun. With the slide locked to the rear, first thing we're going to do is to take the ejector and push that down so it ends up tilted forward just like that. Next thing, we need to press in the takedown pin. It's going to start coming out this side, so we press on that. Press that a little bit, it starts coming out the other side. Grab a hold of that and pull that out. Now, grab the slide, move it backwards slightly. The slide stop disengages, and now the slide will come off the front of the gun. Remove the guide rod and recoil spring. Remove the barrel. This is as far apart as you need to disassemble the gun for a good cleaning. However, if you would like to take the slide apart a little bit further, the striker does come out, and there is some more cleaning that can be done if you want to go that far. And I have another video that I'll link to up above and in the description on how to do that. Basically, I'm going to take the original gun oil and I'm going to coat all the parts I want to clean with a little bit of oil. Let it sit for a little bit. Then we're going to wipe everything off with a brush and rags. We're going to Boresnake the barrel, and then we're going to lubricate and reassemble. Starting with the barrel, I'm going to put a couple of drops on the outside. I'm going to put a few drops on the inside. Smear it around a little bit. Original gun oil is non-toxic, so I don't mind getting it on my hands. Smear the gun oil around inside the barrel so it can start working on the barrel. I'm going to put a drop of oil on the takedown pin. Make sure that's nice and clean. I'm going to get a little on the guide rod and recoil spring assembly. Spread that around a little. Next, I'm going to get the slide, and I'm going to get a few drops in there, especially in the slide cuts along each side. Just going to use the brush to lightly spread that around and make sure it gets all the dirt. We don't want to get any oil into the firing pin opening, but we do want to get a little bit on the breech face there, underneath the extractor right there, and make sure that's all clean. Get some gun oil on the frame, just on all a little bit on the metal pieces here. Not a lot, just a little bit. Smear it around a little. This gun oil is also safe for polymer, so if you get some on the plastic, it's not going to hurt anything. You can see up here, you can get down inside. All right, once everything's coated, we're going to let it sit for a little bit, then we're going to come back and wipe it down. Sitting for a little while, so I'm just going to wipe the gun oil off, wipe down the takedown pin, wipe down the frame. An easy way to get in all the nooks and crannies and all the slots in the frame is to just place the cotton rag over there and use the brush to kind of force the rag into all the little tight areas. Good to have a brush with a large and a small brush. Any areas that you couldn't get or are especially dirty, you can use cotton swab. These cotton swabs have a pointy side and a round side, so you can really get into tight places with these. Make sure there's no excess oil in there to attract dirt. A little bit is okay because it just helps lubricate things. The frame's looking pretty clean. I'm going to do the same thing with the slide. I'm going to use the rag and the brush to get down in there real good. Get the slide cuts. And anywhere again, you're not happy with. Just use the cotton swabs to get in there. Going to clean the barrel. First, I'm just going to wipe the gun oil off of the outside. I'm going to make sure that the feed ramp is nice and clean. All right. To clean the inside of the barrel, what we're going to do is use a Boresnake. It has built-in copper brushes on it, so it's not only going to wipe it really clean with all this tight-fitting material, but it's also going to scrape any stubborn deposits in there out of the barrel. So you want to make sure you get a Boresnake appropriate for your firearm. So this is a 40 caliber, so we're going to use a 40. If you have a 9mm, that's a little bit smaller, so you want to get a 9mm Boresnake. Real easy to do. You just feed it through, pull it through. It should be fairly tight. Just pull the Boresnake through there a few times. Looks good. Now we're going to lubricate the Ruger SR40, and basically you don't need a whole lot of lube. We're going to get a little bit of lube on a rag, and we're just basically going to wipe down all the pieces here. Wipe the barrel on the outside. Just wipe it so that there's a very light coating of oil on it, and then take a dry cloth and just lightly wipe it. You don't want to wipe all of it off. You want to wipe any excess off. Just a little bit like that. Add a little lube to the takedown pin. Just wipe that pretty good. On the guide rod, I'm just going to put one little drop on there. Kind of spread that around. And then just wipe that lightly to get the excess off. On the frame, a very small drop on each of the rails. A drop on some of the metal pieces back here. Just where things kind of touch each other, just a little bit. And again, just kind of move that around a little with a brush. And then wipe off the excess. Same thing with our slide. Maybe a drop there. Drop. The rails are very important. A very small drop, but you want to put at least a little bit in each rail. Spread that all the way up and down. Down inside here. Just get everything a little coating. Then wipe off the excess. You can just barely see any oil on there, but there's definitely oil. And now we're going to reassemble the Ruger SR40. First, drop in the barrel, guide rod, and recoil spring. Larger side goes up front. Slide it down into that slot like that. Now we're going to take the frame and we're going to line up these slots with these rails. So line it up just like that. Slide it on, wiggle it a little if you have to. We're going to push it all the way back and push the slide stop up to lock it in place. So now we want to put the takedown pin back in. There's a little spring in there, so you have to push a little bit, but line up like this. Push it straight in. Coming out on the other side. Very good. Now take the slide, push it back. Slide stop disengages. Let the slide come forward. Now, because remember we put the ejector, we tilted it down, we want to insert a magazine, and that makes the ejector push back into place. Wrap the slide a few times, and then just wipe down the exterior of the gun. All right, that's it for the SR40 reassembly, clean, and lube. There's a couple other related videos. I have a video on the safety and function check. After you're done reassembling the gun, you're going to want to go through a couple of very quick safety checks to make sure everything's working right. You're also going to need to occasionally clean your magazines, not as often as the gun, unless you've dropped it in the gravel or in the dirt. Then you're going to want to take it apart and clean it. I have another video I'll link to on how to do that. Links for everything we used in the video are down below. And if you like this video, please hit like below, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.